invite the CEO of Insight to give us his welcoming remarks, because he is our host, so he has to give us his welcoming remarks. Dr. Cisse, you are welcome.
Members of the Board of Directors, the Honorable Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Professor Gomez, the coordinator of the ITC, the director of IMVF, the representative of Holland MRC Holland Foundation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 20th celebration Welcome to the 20th graduation ceremony of Insight Training Center. I think some people are finding it hard to hear me, but again, I am also finding it hard to be seen. And for all of us, it is an achievement for us, our parents and our friends. We have sacrificed a lot. We must have remembered what happened during the COVID period. Some must have been here between 8 and 10 hours under the scorching sun with a face mask. Equally with the lecturers, we have made a lot of sacrifices, but today you should be proud of yourself because you've made it. I am sure this wasn't a lone journey. The families were there as well, sacrificing. We know how much it costs to train someone for a year, not 2, but 3. It costs a lot. If you want to juggle that with the rising cost of living, then there must have been a sacrifice to get you here. Well, for those that have sacrificed, I think it has paid off today because you're proud to be graduating today. But what does it mean for you, your parents, your friends, and all of us? It should mean something different from what it was. And we should take a moment to reflect on what is the journey about, what have we achieved, but what do we want to contribute? Well, we must have seen the Gambia. Is it changing? We cannot just take ourselves from society. We must have seen what is happening around the world. But within here, let's look at the revelations from the TRRC. Many of us were shocked to hear what happened. But who did it? It was us Gambians. Are we taking responsibility? Are we taking charge? Do we want to deny everything? Do we want to accept? But even after that, what do we do thereafter? Now, it is always said, you are the agent of change. And I hope you will see us through this. But it is not only that. It's about looking at climate change, looking at the rising food insecurity, looking at the environment. Even on the way, look at if you are in your car, how people drive. Look at all the other things. How do we behave to each other? Let's look at time. When we are told to be at a certain place, when do we arrive? What do we do? I think it is high time that probably those that are elderly can be forgiven. But you that are coming up, at least you are learning and you are seeing the trend. You are seeing what is coming on. And I believe you should change this. Boy, suñ continue ni do dox. And it means we have to work harder and to see that there will be change. If we take from other countries, let's look at our neighboring countries here. Senegal. Can you imagine Gambia importing onions, tomato, cucumber from Senegal? Can you imagine going to other countries to import hoe or cutlass? When shall we develop? When we sit here and said there is high unemployment, but we cannot make use of the basic. Come on, you need to reflect on it. We do not have the answer, but I think you can give us the answer. And that is the reason you are here today, to show us you are different, to show us you can make a change. And we are looking forward to seeing that change. Please, if you make a change, we will all be happy. But if you do not make a change, we will all be with it for the rest of our lives. I hope you will. Mr. Chairman, today we are graduating 1,000, or we have completed the training of 1,311 students from various courses over the past 3 years. This is, I think, for the last 3 years, since 2019, we haven't had any graduation. So we are combining the batches of 2019, 2020, 21, and 20, yeah, and 21. 22 is not yet, but that is what we're doing today. Out of that number, 532 are female, which is 41%. We believe we're coming up, but still the gender disparity is there. I think we need 50-50, or if not more. We have incorporated the study of communication, entrepreneurship, and ITC in all our skill development areas, which means whatever course you learn here at Insight, you will learn ICT, you will learn entrepreneurship, and then English communication. This is, we know today, everyone either have a mobile phone. Alma once told me, we once had Alma here. He was the then chair of the Chamber of Commerce and wanted to locate where Insight is. So how will he get here? We had to tell him, when you get to the mosque, which mosque? When you get to the junction, which junction? So we can see those are all problems that we need to fix. Okay? Now, Professor is lucky, he can have Google Locator. But my mom or my aunt from Kabada, even if he have a mobile, he may not be able to use it. So I believe we need to have a way to solve that problem. Mr. Chair, to transform the economy from a low to a high-skilled level in line with the National Development Plan goals, Insight, as an inclusive institution, has a branch in Mile 2. So we are not only training you, we are training those that are incarcerated. The reason is, what happens? Do we only want to punish the people that have made mistakes? I am sure some of us have made mistakes. They haven't gone to prisons, but they have made mistakes equally that could have taken them to prison. So once we take them to prisons, do we just leave them there, or do we rehabilitate them? At Insight here, what we think is, we do not just leave them there, but we rehabilitate them so that when they come back, they can contribute their quota into our society. We have trained many of them, and then from the reports that we have from the prisons, none of them have reoffended to get back to prison. So I believe that is positive as well. I am happy to say that we are not only training prisoners at Mile 2, but on the 22nd of June, we will also be opening another branch in Janjambure to train those that are in Janjambure, courtesy of UNDP. But what do we do after training you? What do we do after training those people? How do we integrate ourselves into society? How do we contribute to the meaningful development of this country? This is to be the change that we desire. To look at other places, or for other places to also look to us. Now, I was talking to Dr. Barry just yesterday when we had a board meeting and we were discussing about what do we do and how do we develop or transform this institution to a better quality. And we were talking about Singapore and Korea. Luckily, he knows about Singapore and Korea, which I do not know anyway. And he was telling me where they started. And some few years ago, they were at par or nearly at par with the Gambia. If that is what is happening, I think we need to look at ourselves and see what we should do. This is a day to celebrate with you and then to let people know what we are doing and how you have excelled, but also another day to highlight what we are doing with our partners. With regards to our achievements is mainly on what you are able to do as students. Now, we want to talk about some of the things that you have done, either you or those before you. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Inside here. But the reason why I said welcome now is to tell you of everything that you have seen here. The construction, the electrical work, the plumbing, the tiling, and every other thing that you have seen here was built by students and our own students. We think that is the best way to train, but that is the best way to also show that we are contributing, and then we are providing quality. We are providing quality because we want those that we are training to do for us. If we are not sure, or if we think they cannot provide quality, we would not have engaged them. But we are engaging them for all the works that we are doing. Of course, this is also thanks to other partners. Now, when MRC Holland Foundation saw this, they gave us another opportunity. They gave us other opportunities to build schools. Now, they are giving us contracts to build schools for them. If I am not mistaken, we've built more than 6 schools today. Others with 3-story buildings. And the money that they are paying us is going back to the students as well. We are not importing labor like Mustafa Njai is saying from Guinea-Bissau or from Mali. We are using our own people to build. So these students here, some of them are either using it to pay their school fees or using it for their transport and other means. So we are using our students to perform the work that we need. Other partners are like Raymond, ITC, International Trade Center. Now, I did talk about construction, but when it comes to tailoring, ITC during the pandemic had given us contracts of more than 50,000 face masks, which were all sewn by students, and then the money was also paid to students. They had also helped us with more than 30 sewing machines. It's not only here, but because I talked about the prisons. Now, through ITC again and the British High Commission, we were also able to secure a partnership with them to sew face masks and soap making, and at the mile 2. Now, remember, I want to tell you that the prisoners were able to make income from prisons to give to their families outside. So this is happening where each of the prisoners involved was able to make $3,000 and give it to their families outside. So not people taking money to their inmates, to their families and friends in the prison, but prisoners now getting money and giving it to their people outside. It doesn't stop there. Our partners again, IMDF and Enable, well, they have also come in. These are all practical. Now, I know I've got a paper where I should have just looked at it, but I just said, no, let me just speak my mind and say what I want to say the way that I want to say it. IMDF, they have partnered with us as well. Today, we have trained 146 students in Kuntaya, because we do not only have inside here, we have inside here and we have inside in Kuntaya. And through the help of IMDF, we are training students in agriculture, which is horticulture, small ruminants, and poultry. Today, as of today, you can either buy or order chicken and poultry, chicken and eggs from Kuntaya. So these are practical. We also have goat and sheep, and we hope very soon we can go to Mr. Dr. Barry's office and say, do you want Mbalu? we believe schools should be used for those things. It should be practical, and we need to see the results. We don't train people to go and search. Of course, they may go and search for work, but that's not all. We want them to be self-employed. Now, most of these students here are self-employed. They have their own companies, and then some of them are consultants in other areas. So this is what we are doing to contribute to national development. We hope that tomorrow we can talk about you. We can also give each and every one of you as an example. We could have named names for people that have excelled in what they are doing. Tomorrow, we want you to also get out there and say, I am that product, and this is what I am doing. Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, of course I also have to recognize everyone, but also I want to recognize my principal, Bunjai, sitting there. Boon, welcome. He is among those that molded us, and we are proud of him to be here as well. Every day there are stories. They might be different, but can we make a story of ourselves and then be talked about positively? We are looking forward tomorrow where you can make a change to some of the things that have been highlighted or that I have highlighted. When you get out there and see people doing wrong, you should look at how you can right that thing. When you go out there and see people suffering, you should look for a way of helping them. But again, if you are called to be at school or at a meeting, please be there on time, so that when you are asked, you would say, I'm a product of Insight. Thank you so much.
My fellow students, and I also want to say I'm very proud of you. And as much as I'm proud of you because we've been together for so long, and I know what you people have endured in order to come this far. So please savor this moment, okay? All right. Like I said earlier, my name is Ayushi Bakuri, and I have a poem to recite here. It is entitled "Vowel or Troel." Okay, and here it goes. Menkataye bunaye kisibi rastri pranalika ka vasika mantam. Mahatma Gandhi. I do regard spinning and weaving as a necessary part of any system of education. You told us that there are things we can change, but you still want us to believe that things and time change. So I ask a question that most of us would probably ignore, but I can't. And I want to know, where is our destiny? You told us that our destiny lies in our own hands. But I have a habit of asking questions with questions. I still ask. So what about the unemployed? Should they be blamed for their fate when you most of the time would close the gates and open the veil? I ask, we are the gems fit for the galleys and later dumps in the rallies, right? We are the youth who still know poverty, the youth with no chances and falsified privilege. We are the youth pushing boundaries to create opportunities. We are the youth whose hopes are being fried in schools, dished out on certificates, and eaten by unemployment. We did not pray for the burdens we are carrying. But you see, let's genuflect to the reality, for we have an impact on society. This society, though, restricts us to cruel vocation. You see, nation building needs not only your important vowels, your degrees in your pockets and certificates in your closet. You see, I might be a friend to cement and sand, bulbs and sockets, sinks and basic, but I still have my head high. And I can explain to you my cement motor ratio. 1:2. You see, TVET is a project that should go big and a dream come true. And believe me, if your greed shall exceed the common goal, this vision will collapse. I'm not wanderlust. I'm just pondering in lust because I've challenged my brain to separate the hucks from the grains, and I was about to fall into the drains. And now I'm seeing a gap that only TVET can breathe. Oh, I can breathe. Inside training center, the national winner, no one told me that TVET is giving rough justice because we've been using the right cables to wire the wrong connection. So please listen to the 12 recommendation. Take us back to the foundation. You see, the excavation should start in our offices. We don't need cow codes to venture into the moon, so stop auditing poverty, level the job opportunities, and backfilling the competent elites. And before the block work, study the budget properly. No wonder erosion at time would sweep the elites and expose the plinth beam. This should be kept clean. This yardstick for change is definitely witty. I expect the white paper after the recommendation to be witty. Our pain is heavy and hunger needs pity. Could you please stop sitting pretty and attend to our needs? And if your plans will not take us to the lintel, may physical planning help in your demolition. Amen. All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Once again, I now invite somebody that I think we all know, who does not need any introduction, and known among all of us for his wisdom and knowledge. He had been very instrumental to the Insight journey. As an outstanding speaker,
ci xale yi rek waa ci waajur yi la bokk tamit am nañ ay yaay ak ay baay ñoo xam ne ñu ngi kontaan te bég ne seen doom yi seen jëkkër yi seen jabar yi tey ñi ngi sol solin gu rafet di jot seen certificat wone ne seen xam-xam màcc na ci liñ jàng fii si ITC te mën nañoo njëriñ seen waajur yi njëriñ society gërëm nañ leen kontaan nañ ci yéen bu baax a baax mi haala ɗum kadi e pular mi weltani ke ɓeygure arde ɗo nden fof ko nene ko baba ko moodi ko ɓeygu arɓe yi'ugol ɓiɓɓe maɓɓe moodi maɓɓe rewɓe maɓɓe no gayni jande ka ITC ɗo no hendo kaydiji maɓɓe no watti ha no laba no holliri gandal maɓɓe timmi no holliri kadi hiɓe wakkili hande laɓɓugol golle ma no ɓe gollude fi nafugol ɓeygureji maɓɓe e leydi ndin hande ko weltare wonani ɓeygureji maɓɓe ɗin fof ngamire ninga fo mandinga kan wala fanan domandi wo fanan aɓe sone ala kodi ngamira ko men nata jam bi faal nata bamal nata fanan kewol nin musol be nata kela dingoje ila kewoje ila musoje abe dondika même sona yata abe wo kan abala certificate fanan sotola bi abe kontarine ay karango menke ITC jang wo bantale adu ngamira ay do ko fanan soto nama soto abe wo soto la sambi abala mol nafala abe Gambia be nafala ngamira mol be kontaning men nata bi ngamira al tolle programme alla programme le wala tin ngani defo maybe the honorable minister will help me in Ninjago there, so I'll have to stop there. Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, the distinguished members here who are mostly our partners at ITC, and just to name the partners, we have the MRC Holland represented by Mr. Lamin Seidi and Farmer Suso, IMVF represented by Madam Joanna Lopez Martin, we have GIS represented by Kausu Sila, and we have YEP represented by the project manager Raymond Moza, a friend I've known when I was at the Permanent Secretary Minister of Youth and Sports. And then we also have the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, represented here by the Director of Quality Assurance, Mr. Lamin Mane. I call him the Nyancho, a rounded Nyancho. We also thank the Alcalo of Sinchu, Alcalo Salifu Sise, and also the Imam Omar Lo, and our former board members. It is an honor for me as the new chairman of the board to be speaking here in your presence. The irony is I have been speaking on this platform wearing different caps. The first time I was invited, I was the Permanent Secretary Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. This building was not yet done, so we had to do it right outside there in the open space. I remember that very well. When I left the Minister of Higher Education, ITC felt it good to have me involved in Tibet by recommending that I become the deputy chair when the deputy chair finished his term. So I came on board as a deputy chair of the board, and then I also supported in driving ITC in higher heights. And when the chair completed his term, very recently, I'm also tasked to take over the position of chair, which is to me a great honor. It is also my privilege to present the members of the board. All of them are not here. So we have Mr. Usman Nyan, who was former director of National Training Authority, who is now the vice chair. We have Mr. Momodu Bite, who has been working with NTA in the past, who is a member of the board. And we have Mbadi Bajane, it's Jane, right? Jamme, Mbadi Bajamme, who was a former student of Insight Training, now working with the international institutions, who is also a member of the board. So we are the 4 members, and we hope to do everything possible in the next 2 years to see that ITC thrives. I will therefore take this opportunity as a new board chair to first congratulate all the new board members. I want to congratulate the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, who took office very recently. And by the way, I'm probably proud to say this might be his first officiating a ceremony of a private Tibet institution. I hope I am right, because I really want to be right. And I'm sure when he comes on board, he will tell us. Let me just pause there a bit. I know Professor Gomez a very long time ago. And Alhamdulillah, I have to say that he has been always consistent and has always been true to what he believes in. Consistent in the sense that he is the type that you can have as a friend and don't hope that one day it will change. He is a true friend from the beginning to the end. And he can be a brother from the beginning to the end. And having him now as our minister, and with the new emerging visions we had him showing in his store and what he's been pronouncing, especially when he emphasized on Tibet, really warmed our hearts, because we really need to see that Tibet is pushed to higher heights, and we know what it means to have Tibet given a serious priority. Hopefully in his speech he is going to delve on that, but we are happy that he is part of us today, and we are happy when we invited him, even though he had to travel from Sierra Leone yesterday and arrived very late at night and had to finish up a lot of pending work the whole of last night, and also had to rush this morning to his office. He still was able to join us despite all the heavy traffic. So honestly, we are honored. He could have asked anybody to represent him. He said, no, I will come in person because this is what I'm passionate about. So we thank him very much. ITC could not have prospered, as the CEO said, without the partners. The partners trusted this institution because we have demonstrated that we are a trustworthy institution. We have demonstrated that we are really true to what we believe in, and we have done it many times. Now, look at just Sinchu here. The proof of having everything here built by the students themselves is a true demonstration that we are committed to see that the people we produce here are effective people who can change the nation and make wealth inside this country. So therefore, the sponsors are the ones who have been supporting, accompanying the ITC. Otherwise, it would have been very, very difficult because those resources would not have been available. But we are happy and grateful to them. So I want to say to the whole sponsors, thank you so much. We continue to count on your continuous support and your belief that we can change this country through our collective efforts and with your accompaniment. I also want to commend the regulatory authority, NACA. From the onset, National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority has been accompanying ITC, vetting them, assessing them, guiding them in improving both the quality and the content of the training that they have been providing, and licensing their teachers too. So naturally, if ITC is excelling, it's because NACA has always been there. And we are happy that we have the Director of the Quality Assurance, Mr. Lamin Mane, who has always been with us, joining us today on behalf of the CEO. We would like to congratulate the ITC administration. Ismaila, there are two Ismaila Sise, so you have to be careful who you address. We have Dr. Ismaila Sise and Mr. Ismaila Sise. But I'm sure most of you would have seen Mr. Ismaila Sise's face more often than Dr. Ismaila Sise. Both of them have been working, the other one trying to do all the bad work, and the other one being what we call the face of ITC. Both of them have excelled. They have demonstrated also that they love this institution and they love the students who come here, and they will do anything possible to see that whoever leaves ITC becomes something of great to this nation. So we commend them. We also commend all the staff, the teachers. Certainly an institution is not successful if the teachers do not join hands and make it work. So I'm sure the teachers have been committed. They have shown love to the students, and they have imparted the knowledge adequately as it should be, so that today we find all of you graduating and excelling and certainly serving the nation in your different capacities. But if ITC also succeeds in Sinchu, it's because the community has also supported ITC. Otherwise, without the support of the community, be the Alcalo, the Imam, and all the rest of the community, certainly ITC would still be facing some challenges. The land that is provided, and I hear that they have also provided an extended land here for more possible expansion. And then when you go to Kuntaya, certainly the Kuntaya community also supported in providing land. And so this is going to continue as we keep expanding across the country. So the community is very important in accompanying us in the efforts we do to make sure we change the nation through education and through skills. Please, I want to make this very short, but I cannot help it but give you a very little, just historic memory lane. from the time I really got involved with ITC. You know, when I became permanent secretary of higher education, the first thing I did, and I'm happy that the minister did exactly the same, was to do a tour across the country, particularly to the Tibet institutions, including inside training. So I said, I went and did the tour, both public and private. And when I finished, I realized that we needed to boost Tibet. And we immediately called for what we call a Tibet forum. And we had a very big Tibet forum. After that Tibet forum, the conclusion was we have to revitalize Tibet and give it prominence. In 2015, I had the privilege of going to Washington with the other representatives of the higher education, to go and negotiate with the World Bank support. When we went to Washington, something just clicked in my mind. I realized, one, that when I came as a permanent secretary, there was already a higher education policy in the making. But I also realized there is a ministry of the basic and secondary education policy already being implemented. So then something told me that we are not doing it right. That we are one education. There is no way we can have two education policies that might probably not be talking to each other. So I then proposed immediately at that spot that we needed to change and then have what we call an education sector-wide policy. And then I had, before we went to the World Bank, I had no minister, so I had to do this through the office of the president, etc. So when my minister came, he was appointed, we worked together, he embraced the idea, and then we started the development of education sector-wide policy. But what was the essence of that policy? Is to provide what we call an all-round post-secondary education, all round. But not even post-secondary education, but a whole education system must be, revamped. Meaning that we have the madrasa as part of our system, education system. We have the dara, what we call the majlis, as part of our education system. We have the dropouts as part of our children. We had a lot of other people who have been affected, whose education could not continue, either by early marriage or probably by a host of other problems. So how do we ensure everybody has an opportunity to learn? But be careful. We don't only want to target the youth. We also want to make sure even adults who are willing to learn must be given an opportunity. So it meant that we have to restructure the whole education system. So we created what we call an interministerial committee, and we started developing the idea. So we had a whole plan to make sure that from primary school, you can even start learning Tibet as long as you are progressing in the primary, so that by the time you finish primary, then we would have identified those who are most skilled on the hands-on, and then redirect those into what we call a secondary technical route. And eventually, the GCTI, where they will do BTech, MTech, and maybe become technical experts. And then, why not? They could also go into the private institutions like ITC. And then we had the other route, which was going to be more theoretical, and then you go to secondary school and you follow that route. And then you have the university now, which could all be both technical and theoretical. But you could also have what we call polytechnics that can also address that issue. So we said everybody must be given an opportunity, even the one in the Dara. So this is how we also thought about the apprenticeship system, which luckily for us, NTA was already implemented. And we saw the opportunity of expanding that to include every individual to learn a skill and be able to benefit both themselves, their families, and society. So I'm happy that the Honorable Minister now is thinking alike, and I'm sure with all the updates that he will get from his ministry, with all the documents that have been produced, hopefully he's going to take off from where we have already built, and hopefully there is going to be a lot that is going to change in the area of Tibet. So what is going to be our future? I stick only to Tibet. We are hoping that we will develop entrepreneurial skills. We will develop apprenticeships to a large extent. We will develop professional skills, technical and vocational skills. But we will not forget the national language skills, because I would like one day to also speak here in Manjago, in Jola, in other languages. Hopefully, I'm also going to try. And then we also have to develop technical teachers. Teachers who can also teach at the highest level, up to bachelor's and master's level in those technical areas. So you see, building ITC for us today as a new board is a dream of making it a center of excellence, which is going to decentralize Tibet and professionalize skills and empower every Gambian, young and old, to be self-reliant, to be empowered, to be entrepreneurial, and to be innovative. We are resolved to change mindsets because people believe that Tibet is not the way. They think that Tibet is not the way because they believe people who don't do Tibet are the ones who are not smart. But that is not true. We want to build cities because we think that skills can build cities, from villages to cities. And we also want to create wealth. We are committed to see Insight Training Center not only as a center of excellence, but a polytechnic in the very near future, in which it would also provide bachelor's and master's in all the technical fields that most of you have already done. But not only that, as we keep training our own Gambians, we want to see that we train as many Gambians as possible and start exporting expertise. We want to see some of you constructing roads in Guinea-Bissau, or building homes, extraordinary homes in Mali, or how they call it, making chairs and beds that everybody around the West Coast or the Sub-Saharan Africa will be proud of. So this is what we are thinking, and we should be thinking big. And this we can do, and this we will do. We need to develop the minds of our people to make them great. And look, the CEO didn't mention, but I know that we have trained people who have become ministers, who have become ambassadors, and who have become journalists, great journalists. I know them. You might not. I don't have to tell you their names, but I know them, and I've been communicating with them. And if you look at the pictures, you will see their faces, but maybe you will not know. So I keep my secret. But what I'm appealing to you, go forth to serve, go forth to conquer, because I'm sure you are going to be the greatest minds also in the future. Congratulations.
Hello, good morning, assalamu alaikum to you all. I was asked to give a few remarks on behalf of the partners of Insight Training Act to follow. But I could not say no to that for a number of reasons. First and foremost, for me, coming to Insight Training Center is always coming home. I'm standing behind a pulpit that says ITC. My very organization is. At the same time, I also am very humbled to be here because ITC and you are here with you. Honorable Minister, the representatives from the Insight Training Center, the chair, a good friend, long-time partner in development, General Barry, Dr. General Barry, the colleagues have been working together with the Insight Training Center for a long period of time, and we have seen firsthand the tremendous strides that this center has been doing. I would say, by extension, the Tibet in the country. I've been here for a bit more than 5 years, and I've seen the very long way we have been coming when it comes to technical vocational training. The Tibet space gains more and more recognition from all parts of society, and we're very happy with that. From our end, we want to express also our appreciation to the partners. First and foremost, the government, who has been attaching, as we have heard, increasing amount of importance to the Tibet space. Through the development of a Tibet policy, for the establishment of a Tibet roadmap, a Tibet committee that meets every quarter to discuss issues, brings together all the different partners, and of course numerous investments in the different Tibet space, whether it's to improve the quality, whether it's to improve access to Tibet services, or whether it's to improve relevance of the trainings that are being offered within the different training institutions. Of course, we want to thank our partners, first and foremost here, Insight Training Center, for having been a reliable partner who has really been able to put the vision into practical results, delivering very high quality, effective trainings, and now increasingly also all over the country, not just here, but also in rural areas. And indeed, we have been honored. For us, development, it's basically just being able to stand behind you and being able to rally and help you do what you already do and help you make your vision, achieve your vision faster. So we're very pleased and honored to be partners with you. We are also being seen enormous progress in the area of private sector TVET provision, whether it's through master craftspersons, other training institutions. I know the chair and the principals of Insight training centers have been also instrumental in this, through Navisti, for different fora that bring together also private sector in TVET. So we thank you. We thank also the parents, everybody here. Youth empowerment and skills training wouldn't be possible without your strong support. So we thank you for making those dreams come true for young Gambians. And first and foremost, I want to thank you, the students, the graduates. This is your day. We are here to celebrate you. We are proud of you. We are really, really proud of you. It was said, I really like the poem from the Student Association. You said you're filling a bridge, you're bridging, or you're filling a gap. You're not just filling a gap, you are creating the very foundation that this country is built on. You are the very essence of the development in this country. So yes, you can hold your height very high. You can be proud of what you have achieved and the milestones that we're celebrating today. It's one of important milestones, but I also want to encourage you to keep on learning. We know that skills training and education is a lifelong journey that never stops. We celebrate today, but please continue on this path, continue to build on your skills. And then step by step, you will achieve greatness in your respective careers. Step by step, as we say in Danke Danke, Mujata Geligolo. Thank you so much.
The research institution of study. And the topic of the research is the research of Apple Tree International. The general introduction. The research is focused on studying Apple Tree International in relation to its context and functionality to decide. And in this presentation, I'm gonna show to you guys. I'm gonna show to you guys the inventory of Apple Tree, analysis on the issues, and the desired response that we came with, and this Navy and to Gambia. The aim of establishing the school was to provide good quality education for academic background. They started it as a kindergarten with only 9 people, but later on, parents urged them to move further. From there, 3 years later, came the nursery school, primary, and high school in 2004. That's where we did the research. And you may wonder why the school is named Apple Tree. The co-founder of the school named it Apple Tree after her late mother, may her soul rest in peace, because she was living in a home called Apple Tree. The research methodologies. These are the methods we use during the research. Measurements were taken to show the actual size of the building and in the school and its perimeter. And pictures also were taken to support some of the information we have put. An interview we are conducted with the people of the school. And from the Nolima showing the various type of building in the school. This is the site plan, the use of space in the school. Those are the various type of building in the school. Okay. These were the pictures taken from the school. That's the main building, the admin building, and the Form 6 building, and also the security house showing the school directory on the ground. From the pictures that have been just shown, we can all analyze that there is issue of the adequate lighting in the adequate light. Okay. Our first analysis is issue on adequate lighting. So from the picture, the main building, the first one, we can all analyze this together that there's probably inadequate lighting due to the arches and the parapet wall that they use as to make the place that pathway into the school environment, making it hot, and students also praying on the hot concrete slab. From the analysis, we came up with a design statement. And from our project, the proposal is to design the structure of the school in a way that it will address heat, lighting, and recreation of the school. From the analysis, we came up with design response, analysis on the design response, that we have placed trees in the school. So as we all know, trees they provide shade around the building. So this shade will serve as a cooling place in the environment around the security area during break. And a basketball lawn that we propose for them. Because right now, the pictures that we are putting, it has caused that students play in front of the main building, while others can be having. Okay, this is the proposed 3D of the general. This is the proposed 3D view one. So this is what we propose for the school. Looking at this building with the previous picture, you have seen that the school is going to allow that direct penetration of light around the balcony, the staircase, and the corridor of the veranda of the school. So that during the day, there's no need to waste energy on light to drive the place. And of security and the store. So at this juncture, I would love to stop here and show you guys the video of the visit that really is that we came with.
And the institution that we chose is Charles Dow Memorial Academy. These are the members displayed on the screen as we can all see. We are the people that worked on the presentation. Charles Dow Memorial Academy is a school that begins with only 3 classrooms. There are 3 classrooms. They had named it KFC. With time, they add another 2 extra classrooms, which is D, T, and G, meaning KNC, the Gambia. That is how they begin. So it is so this is a 3D isometric view of the institute. I'm going to take you through the site plan, that is the aerial view from the Google map, and the existing site layout that is on the plot as we are speaking. This, as we are seeing, is the entrance of the school. At the entrance, we have a footpath that leads to the admin. I can attest, the representative of Charles Dow Memorial Academy, if he's here, he can attest to it, that whatever I say regarding the school is existing here. Because right at the opposite, we have the admin house. Then, as you enter, on your right, we have the generator room. On the left, there is a store. So they have this whole move as a store. Next to the store, we have the library and research center. Because I said Charles Dow is a school of academics, they don't want students to loiter around when they are free. They always go to the library and do their research recharges. Next to it, we have the science lab and then the computer lab. It is a story building. We will see the pictures as we move further. Close to it is the grade 7 and grade 8 block. Next to it, at the admin, because the admin is sandwiched by 2 classes, and then both of these classes are occupied by the grade 7 and 8. This other structure, it is a classroom for the senior students. And here is the masjid. Behind the school, there are more classrooms. The reason why we are having more classrooms in Charles Dow is because they don't want any child to stay at home without being educated. For that being the reason, they have afternoon and morning sessions. Charles Dow, they will find an opportunity to get into institutions that are offering Tibet courses, like Inside Training Center. We have the catering department, that is the home science room for the senior school. Here is a cafeteria where they sell food for students.
Thank you very much, MC. Dr. Chena Omar Bari, my brother, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Dr. Ismaila Sise, CEO, Inside Training Center, Mr. Lamin Mane, Director, Quality Assurance, NACA, Alcalo Salifu Mane, Salifu Sise, Joanna Lopez Martin, Imam Omar Lo, former members of the board, Inside Training Center staff and teachers, graduating students, parents and family members, members of the press. I am honored to join you as guest speaker at this unique ceremony, which I now understand brings 3 cohorts of graduates from 2019, 2020, 2021 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me take this opportunity to heartily extend warm greetings to you from the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. It is good to note that the graduating students are either already employed or are employing other people in their businesses. Many have completed their studies in the fields of information technology, journalism, construction, banking, plumbing, architecture, business management, human resources, AutoCAD, business studies, electrical installation, and marketing, to name a few. Other graduates from ITC are already serving as promising senior journalists in our national and private TV stations. In short, ITC has demonstrated that it exists to empower the youth with skills that are relevant for our national development, and yes, it is essential to infuse hope and self-reliance in our youth. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the government of the Gambia, under the leadership of His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, through the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, has since 2017 embarked on the transformation of the tertiary and higher education subsector. This process was guided by the development of a strategic plan 2021-2025 so as to actualize the government's transformation agenda of developing the human capital stock of this country. The mission of the strategic plan, therefore, is to establish a tertiary and higher education system of reputable, world-class institutions and centers of excellence that will produce well-educated and skilled citizens with requisite competencies to lead fulfilled lives and compete nationally and globally. We see Inside Training Center on that path. Ladies and gentlemen, the national development imperatives require a rethinking in order for us to address the perennial issues of unemployment, poverty, illegal migration, low-skilled manpower, dependency syndrome, which have plagued our economic development for a long time. Now is the time to change the trajectory of this country. Now is the time to redefine our education sector. Now is the time to look at our curriculum for it to be fit for purpose. Now is the time for development. As I usually say, development is now and it cannot be postponed. And to do that, we must use the right tool, that is TVET, because that will create sustainable development. And ICC is doing that. The intention of our transformation agenda is to transform some public tertiary education institutions to degree awarding institutions, thereby increasing equitable access and quality tertiary and higher education for all Gambians. The process has started with the transformation of GTTI to the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET. In the coming weeks, we will lay the foundation stone, because that's the only way. 3-degree programs in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering have since commenced with mentorship from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana, and the Montfort University in Leicester, United Kingdom. This is expected to provide a pathway for TVET students and graduates to obtain higher qualification. Today, we can comfortably say that those graduates of inside training who have the qualifications will soon be given the opportunity to pursue their careers to degree levels at this university, that is USEC. And when they do, they will come out as more productive job creators for their own brothers and sisters in the sub-region. As your president did talk about, especially when he mentioned the gate. And yes, I concur with him that the gate needs to be open. And I refer him to the great writer, the father of Gambian literature, Dr. Landry Wilfred Peters, in the 60s, did mention in his famous poem, "Open the Gates." Mr. President, dear graduates, open the gates for knowledge not to be stifled. Open the gates for development to be the backbone of our agenda. Open the gates for the youths of this country to be given the right skills and knowledge so that we will stop the national suicide. Nobody will go back to the desert. Nobody will go to Europe through the illegal migration. Open the gates, brothers and sisters. Now is the time to develop this nation using Tibet. For a long time, we thought that the only way is to use one stream of education, the traditional stream, the pure academic stream where I come from. But there's also a second stream, that is the Tibet stream. All developed nations, go to Finland, go to Germany, go to South Korea, they use the second stream to develop their nation. So Tibet is the way. Tibet is the answer. And I talk to you, parents. You've made the right choice. You've encouraged your students to go for this, because that's the answer. For a long time, 57 good years, we told our youths that Tibet is not the answer, that the best way is to go for pure traditional. even if they have the skills, even if they are ready to go for this. We told them no. 57 years after independence, we are still begging in style. 57 years of independence, we cannot get the right carpenters. We cannot get the right electricians. We cannot get the right auto mechanics, and so on and so forth. 57 good years. If it had worked, if that was the right road, it would have worked after 57 years. Therefore, we need to change. Brothers and sisters, we need to go back to the fundamentals. And I urge you and I urge this gathering that we need to revisit and revamp our higher education subsector. We need to be bold enough to say we must stop this trajectory and change. And to change we must. And it must be anchored on TVET. That's the way. That's what will create jobs. We must give the youths the opportunity to stay in their home and get the skills. When they graduate, yes, they can be employed by the public sector, by government, if possible. They can be employed by the private sector. But they can employ themselves. Not only themselves, but employ others. That is development. In pursuit of the transformation agenda, the ministry has been working with genuine partners to revitalize and strengthen the TVET system for improved skills acquisition and employability of young people, especially women and girls. Yes, women and girls. The data shows that we now have more girls in primary higher education, in primary and secondary education system. But then when it comes to tertiary and higher education, we go back to what happened in the 70s and the 80s. Where are they going to? And they form the majority in this land. How can you have a sustainable development when the majority are excluded? We need to go back to the fundamentals once again and allow our sisters to have access to tertiary and higher education. There will never be any sustainable development if tertiary and higher education is not democratized and access been given to the girl child. The decentralization of TVET to all regions of the country is also anchored on the need to bring TVET to the doorstep of all Gambians. Institutions such as GTTI Annex, Mansakonko, LRR Julangel Skills Center, URR, Demban Skills Center, and Kanilai Skills Center in West Coast region are currently undergoing the transformation to absorb the youth of these respective regions. Other initiatives are being pursued to reach out to areas such as North Bank, CRR North, and URR North. All these efforts are being complemented with the development of a national TVET policy that would guide the management and administration of the TVET ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, enhancing employability and labor productivity and helping countries become more competitive can better be achieved through structural transformation and economic growth. A virtuous cycle can be created by investing in a high-quality workforce in which relevant and quality skills enable productivity, growth, and foreign direct investment, which will lead to more and better jobs for the current workforce and more public and private investment in the education and training system. As a result, the existing and future workforce's employability and productivity will improve. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Inside Training Center, I understand, has been able to graduate more than 10,500 students in many fields of competence that have changed their lives since it was established 19 years ago. In fact, I am also delighted to learn that ITC exceptionally expanded their programs to the Gambia Prison Services, where more than 250 inmates have benefited from many skills. It is no wonder that some of the graduates who earned their liberty, freedom, decided to give back to ITC to be appointed as staff members. This is the spirit of correction and rehabilitation in the New World Order. And some of those inmates deserve a second chance in life. With your decentralization policy and your existence in Kuntaya, I believe many of our youth who cannot otherwise access post-secondary education in these parts of rural Gambia have now been given that chance. My ministry is committed to promoting Tibet because we believe it has all the potential to change the narratives in our development strides. The COVID-19 pandemic has thrown into sharper focus the pre-crisis vision of fair, relevant, and high-quality skills development. This has added an unexpected sense of urgency to the calls for reform and brought to light the enormous cost of inactivity. My goal is to promote the agile agenda of executing the transformation initiatives as stated in our strategic plan, intended to address the skills shortage and mismatch between training and the industry. The ITC will surely stand out as one of the leading Tibet institutions that can help that reform a reality, and I'm committed to providing that enabling environment for institutions to implement efforts in enhancing life and livelihoods of their trainees. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, God willing, with the support of all stakeholders, by next year, we will implement. But before that, the pronouncement, the executive pronouncement will be shared with all tertiary and higher education institutions in this land so that they review the program because it must be fit for purpose. Entrepreneurship and innovation shall be part and parcel of our curriculum. Nobody will graduate from our tertiary and higher education institutions if entrepreneurship and innovation is not embedded in that program come next year. Because we need to prepare the youth to package what they have so that they can take charge of their destiny. As you complete another cycle of your studies today, dear graduates, surely many of you already have first-hand experience on how important it is to learn a skill and feel proud to be part of our national development process. I urge you to be ambassadors of ITC, for others to embrace Tibet and not to see skills development as the last choice in our education ladder. Go forth and be proud of your achievement and be comforted that you will soon earn enough. You can even employ others and be paid more than your minister standing here. Because that's the reality. A good many professionals within the Tibet are earning more than the minister. But society doesn't know. And society thinks that for you to earn more, you must be in the office with an AC and so on and so forth. When in actual fact, it's the other way around. We need to change the narrative. And I count on you to go out and preach the good news. Bring development to your houses. Bring development to your community, and bring development to this country. You should be commended as well. Education is a costly endeavor. You have, and here I'm talking to the parents, because they have invested a lot. Just look at how far they have come. You have invested fortunes in these graduates. However, the goal of investing is to make profit. It is believed that sooner or later, their parents will be repaid for this wise investment, because education is an investment. African parents, in particular, some, not all, some African parents put money into their children's future so they can secure a better life in their old age. You should be proud of yourself for making such a sensible investment. Today, they're all going out, ready to take charge of their destiny, thanks to your investment. And I can tell you that they will go out, not standing in the streets, be begging in style. They will be autonomous. They will be independent. That's the type of citizenry that we want to have. Emergence of a new citizenry, a citizenry ready for development. To conclude, I wish to extend my profound gratitude to our esteemed partners in the transformation of tertiary and higher education sector, namely UNESCO COICA, World Bank GIZ, European Union, International Trade Center, MRC Holland, and other partners here present. Special thanks go to the board, management, staff, students, and parents for this great achievement of academic excellence. I wish to assure you of the ministry's continuous support. And on that note, I thank you very much for your kind attention. Shalom.
Once you have heard him, that TVET is the way. If we want development, we will most obviously embrace TVET. So thank you very much for saying that. And also, another thing that he said, I think Insight Training Center is already on that right direction. Because we obviously see today that every student at Insight must study English communication, entrepreneurship, and ICT. On that Insight Training Center board and management, I thank you for following that direction. Jenna Mariama B. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Famara. Now we invite Raymond Mosa.
My name is Agnes Frempong, the Vice President of the Student Union. It is of great honor to be standing in front of you this afternoon to give the vote of thanks. Indeed, I am honored because I am a student of Insight Training Center and I've come to the end of my third year on an architectural draftsmanship. Indeed, we all went through struggles in our different areas of studies. We went through challenges of school fees. We went through challenges of coming to the school. We went through challenges of exams and so on. Reasons best known to us. But Alhamdulillah, today we are here once again, graduating with our degrees and going out with success. Members of the high table, you are our invited guests. We say thank you for honoring our invitation and taking part of your time to be here with us, to honor this graduation, to grace this moment with us. We can't thank you enough, most especially the partners. Because today we are here as students of Inside. Some of us are sponsored. Example, myself. When I completed my grade 12, I was wondering what to study. Though I have different options, then later I had this news that Inside Training Center is offering a course on the architectural draftsmanship, which I love so much, and it was solely sponsored by Yet Gambia. And then I had to rush and go in for it. So Yet Gambia, thank you so much for your support toward the youth of the Gambia. And secondly is MSC Holland Foundation. And then we are in this structure thanks to MSC Holland Foundation because they funded the structure we are in here today. There were only one building of Inside Training Center, but today we have different classrooms upstairs, a hall, and a conference room we named it. Thanks to MSC Holland. Thank you so much for your kind gesture towards us. Just to name a few, I know there are a lot of sponsors that comes to Inside and support students. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for your support. Congratulations once again to all graduates seated here. Thank you so much for coming and being part of us as well. I would say the ministers made mention of something that this is not the end of the journey, and then we have a long way to go. So for that being the case, I have something to add on to it. And this goes to the female. That is my fellow female. This is not the end of the journey. This is just the beginning. Let marriage not be an obstacle for us. We have pursued something in life. So let us go out and show them that we can do it and we will do it. And we are not going to be we are not going to be employed by people. And even if we are going to be employed, it's just going to be a matter of months or years. But at the end of the day, we will be self-employed and employ people in our different areas of studies. Same goes to the male. Do not underrate the female. Support us and guide us through our struggles. Because without you, I don't think we can actually go. But we need to stand on our own. That is why we are pursuing a career to show the world that women can do it and we can employ people. We can own companies. We can stand for ourselves. Thank you to parents. Indeed, it's true we are here, we are alive today because of you. And then you support us through our challenges. You guide us through the area we are supposed to study. Sometimes we are in a dilemma of what to do and what not to do, but you give us options. You give us options to choose from. And still, you didn't let us go. You supported us through. And today we have come to the end. You all seated here. We cannot thank you enough. Trust me, we cannot thank you enough because all of us have engagements. We are busy at home. But because you know your daughter, your son have attained something in life, you need to show the world that you are proud of them. That is why you are seated here. Thank you so much. To my lecturers, indeed, it is of great honor to stand here to say, above all, the lecturers are the best. They are the best. We misbehave in class, we act rude to them, but they still know that they need to put something in us. They don't ignore us. They don't just see and say, you have no manners. They know that they have attained something. So it is their time to deliver to us, to tell us what they know, and then we will do the rest. I cannot call names because you all did great. So thank you so much. To the cleaners for keeping the school neat and tidy, the gardener, the security gate, he is a very kind man. He supported us and then checked us when we come, when he missed to see us, he's like, so it is showing that he knows us and he appreciates us.
Thank you all for coming.
kuy wut fu muy fanaan ak kuy wut ku ko wétali xanaa delloo buntu gi waru la boole Yaa Faatu's Guest House tijjil na leen buntu bi ñu leen fa am ak ñaari cabinet salle yu yaaña
amal leen li nga xamante ne mooy cabinet ak salle ñu ngi leen amal AC ak fan
salle bi nag lépp li ngeen soxla am na fa sofa yu nooy ñoo fa nekk TV bang fa cabinet boo dugga lal yu nooy leen fa amal nañ leen fa AC ak li nga xam ne moom mooy fan toilet yu set wicc amal nañ leen fa kitchen microwave fridge and room bu baax dama ne teranga day mut moo taxit Yaa Faatu's Guest House amal leen extra kitchen lépp lu ngeen bëgg a togg mun ngeen ko toggee si gas cooker bii nii
kuy xalam di si jaayu nag barke bi yaay borom amal ne li nga xamante ne mooy ndox ak courant 24/7 bu leen tiit bu leen ragal bu leen xof ndax amal ne lii di CCTV caméra
seet si leen ñu si Farafenni gannaaw garage ci base bi Kawur highway
very clean every day am na cleaning service ratio bi amul fenn
Yaa Faatu's Guest House teranga àdduna bët kon nag seet si leen ñu
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.